Stephanie Cameron, and I'm the choreographer for Miss USA. My team and I, thank you. My team and I have been working very closely with the girls the last few days, and we cannot wait to show you everything we've been working on. Are you ready to see it? There's the energy. We need lots of energy and lots of applause, so please be gracious. These girls are superior. They're wonderful. With that said, live from George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum, welcome to the 2018 Miss USA preliminary competition.
Mississippi, Tori Cruz, Missouri, Danny Walker, Montana, Sarah Rose Summers, Nebraska, Carolina Urea, Nevada, Michelle McEwen, New Hampshire. Alexa Noon,
51 incredible contestants, it's time to introduce our host from E! News, The Rundown. Please give a big welcome to Miss Erin Lim.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here in Shreveport, Louisiana for the 2018 Miss USA Preliminary Competition. Give it up! For those of you at home watching, if you're wondering where Shreveport is, it's where the real party's at, all right? And some incredible seafood. Now, before we bring out the contestants, please welcome my co-host for the evening, Miss USA 2017, Kára McCullough. You look stunning! Thank you! Just a vision walking down there.
Thank you.
Now, Kára, one of the great things about being Miss USA is that you've had so many incredible opportunities to give back. Tell us what you've been up to since being crowned.
So since being crowned, I've been giving back actually through my program called Science Exploration for Kids. And whoo, yes, let's go SC4K! And we advocate for students all over the world to get them encouraged to study math and science subjects, because there's still a huge deficit in both the gender as well as racial populations that are in tech and science. So we do fun with interactive hands-on activities and get so many students inspired to study math and science. And I can say today I've encouraged over 500 students.
Wow. You, my friend, are making a difference.
Thank you.
You've done so much great work with the Miss Universe organization. But now it's time to start figuring out who will be the next woman to wear the Miss USA crown.
Let's meet our selection committee, who will be making those difficult decisions.
Host, producer, and member of the Today Show's Style Squad, Liliana Vasquez.
Star of the film Acrimony and Miss USA 2008, Crystal Stewart Seabrex.
Co-founder and CEO of IT Cosmetics, Jamie Kern-Lima.
CEO and founder of EAG Sports Management, Denise White.
Former host of HLN's Weekend Express with Natasha Curry, Natasha Curry. All right, let's give another round of applause for our selection committee. That is no easy job. Yesterday, they interviewed each contestant individually, and tonight they'll cast their votes in the swimsuit and evening gown competitions. And this year, you can help your favorite contestant get into the semifinals at the 2018 Miss USA telecast. Just head on over to vote.missusa.com. You get 10 votes per day. That's a lot. Be wise with your selections. The contestants will be back out here shortly, and when they walk across the stage one by one, we're going to tell you a bit about them. And yes, once again, each of their biographies will end in a rhyming couplet in tradition of the Miss USA competition. Are you guys ready to learn about the contestants? All right, let it begin.
Let's begin the 2018 Miss USA Preliminary Swimsuit Competition with
Alabama.
Alabama graduated magna cum laude with a degree in Communications and Information Sciences. This 23-year-old has raised over $15,000 volunteering for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. She's smart and has a big heart. Alabama.
Alaska.
Alaska has a bachelor's degree in digital cinema arts. This 25-year-old directed, produced, co-wrote, and starred in her senior thesis film, which was an official selection at the St. Louis Filmmaker Showcase. It sure is groovy to make a movie when you're Alaska.
Arizona.
Arizona graduated from cosmetology school in 2012. Last year, this 24-year-old entrepreneur began running her own hair and makeup tanning company. This makeup whiz started her own biz in Arizona.
Arkansas.
Arkansas enjoys educating others on the importance of gun safety and recently received her concealed carry license. This 21-year-old once helped identify a bank robber and received a $1,000 reward. It's sublime to stop a crime when you're Arkansas.
California.
California once worked as a red carpet host at the Country Music Awards. This 6'2", 25-year-old played volleyball for 12 years and was captain of a nationally ranked college team. This contestant is striking, whether she's hosting or spiking. California.
Colorado.
Colorado works as an orthopedic sales consultant. This 22-year-old provides support to surgeons in the operating room, helping to facilitate a smooth and successful surgery. Everything remains stable on the operating table with Colorado.
Connecticut.
Connecticut once helped save the life of an unconscious stranger. In college, this 27-year-old minored in music performance and is trained to sing classically in 5 languages. This singer will strive to keep you alive. It's Connecticut.
Delaware.
Delaware has been playing softball for 15 years. This 20-year-old sports fan spent the past 2 seasons as a ball girl for the Philadelphia Phillies. Her first love involves a bat and a glove. It's Delaware.
District of Columbia.
District of Columbia currently owns and operates her own cake business. This 21-year-old entrepreneur hopes to eventually have a storefront bakery in the Georgetown area of Washington, D.C. When it comes to baking, she's a star in the making. District of Columbia.
Florida.
Florida plans to pursue a graduate degree in nonprofit management and leadership. During last year's hurricane season, this 27-year-old brought primary care from her state to affected Caribbean regions. With a knack for giving back, it's Florida.
Alabama. Alaska. Arizona. Arkansas. California. Colorado. Connecticut. Delaware, District of Columbia, and Florida. Georgia.
Georgia is an international affairs major who speaks 3 languages. In 2016, this 25-year-old was cast in a Colombian TV series that was the country's most watched show last year. This beauty queen sure can light up the screen. Georgia.
Hawaii.
Hawaii enjoys writing children's books using characters inspired by her 3 miniature dachshunds. Last fall, this 26-year-old had the opportunity to walk the runway at New York Fashion Week. It takes both brains and looks to model and write books like Hawaii.
Idaho.
Idaho graduated from Boise State University 2 years early with high honors. This 21-year-old is part of a healthcare team that helps heal and strengthen patients after strokes and spinal cord injuries. This go-getter helps patients feel better. Idaho.
Illinois.
Illinois traveled to Peru on a service trip and helped build a greenhouse for a family in need. This 20-year-old first-generation American has dual citizenship in the United States and Poland. If she doesn't travel, her whole world would unravel. Illinois.
Indiana.
Indiana works as the cadaver dissection intern for Bethel College. And this 23-year-old recently established a partnership with a donor network advocating for organ donation. Throughout her state, going under the knife just might save a life. Indiana.
Iowa.
Iowa is currently the afternoon on-air personality for a radio station in her home state. This 27-year-old plans to eventually become a radio or TV host in a top 20 media market. You can search coast to coast, but you won't find another host like Iowa.
Kansas.
Kansas has an entire dresser filled with makeup products at home. This 20-year-old former cheerleader aspires to be the chief marketing officer for a major cosmetic company one day. Looking to shake up the world of makeup, it's Kansas!
Kentucky.
Kentucky created an annual leadership conference for teen girls in 2015. This 25-year-old entrepreneur's program is designed to assist young women in paving the way for a bright future. This beauty queen knows how to mentor a teen. Kentucky!
Louisiana.
Louisiana is the morning news anchor for Channel 6 out of Shreveport. This 28-year-old is also an athlete and once played soccer for the Olympic Development Program. You just can't lose delivering goals in the news like Louisiana.
Maine.
Maine is a sergeant in the U.S. Army. This 23-year-old calls it an honor to be a woman in the military and last summer received recognition as Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year. She's worthy of a crown in fatigues or a gown. It's Maine!
Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, and Maine. Maryland.
Maryland is an organ transplant coordinator for the Living Legacy Foundation. This 26-year-old is responsible for facilitating the organ donation and recovery process and operating rooms across her state. She'll help others live if you got an organ to give. Maryland!
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease at 11 and underwent non-invasive chemo. Now 27, she is working towards her MBA with a concentration in healthcare. She proved she's a fighter and is now making the world brighter. Massachusetts!
Michigan.
Michigan is currently an ambassador for Light Up Detroit, celebrating growth and pride for the city. This 25-year-old student is well-trained in the military self-defense fighting technique, Krav Maga. The future is bright for this queen who can fight. Michigan!
Minnesota.
Minnesota is passionate about performing music. This 25-year-old began writing songs and playing guitar a decade ago and recently sang the national anthem in front of 7,000 people at an international raceway in her home state. We'd swoon if we heard a tune for Minnesota.
Mississippi.
Mississippi is the published author of a book designed to inspire and empower women. In addition to writing, this 21-year-old works as a wedding photographer. This author takes pride in snapping pics of the bride. It's Mississippi!
Missouri.
Missouri is a freelance sports reporter and admires Erin for her success in a male-dominated field. This 27-year-old has traveled around 9 Canadian provinces and 48 states in an RV. She found a unique way to see the whole USA. Missouri!
Montana.
Montana is inspired by former Miss Universe Olivia Culpo, whom she calls a girl boss. This 28-year-old UFC fan has an online clothing boutique providing thoughtfully selected interview wardrobes for women. Her clothes are desired by those looking to get hired. Montana!
Nebraska.
Nebraska studied in Peru where she visited remote villages, slept in the Amazon basin, and hiked Machu Picchu. This 23-year-old part-time Pilates instructor is first aid, CPR, and AED certified by the Red Cross. She's traveled Peru and can save a life too. Nebraska!
Nevada.
Nevada was briefly homeless, so she's now an advocate for disadvantaged youth. At 23, this model has already shot ads for several national campaigns, including Forever 21, Nordstrom, and Target. If you opened a magazine, then you've probably seen Nevada.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire has a degree in hospitality management and works as a real estate agent. This 25-year-old started figure skating 20 years ago and continued competing throughout college, selling homes that are nice while looking great on the ice. New Hampshire.
Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, and New Hampshire. New Jersey.
New Jersey is studying criminal justice with plans to pursue a career in law enforcement. After years of training in judo, this 23-year-old is now a first-degree black belt. In a sash and a crown, she can knock you down. New Jersey!
New Mexico.
New Mexico has a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. This 23-year-old is currently pursuing her master's in industrial engineering while working as a contractor with Raytheon. Let's all cheer for this engineer, New Mexico!
New York.
New York is a men's skincare specialist, but plans to start her own real estate business. This 26-year-old has participated in numerous marathons for causes, logging over 800 miles. In the past 2 years, fixing men's skin while racing to win, it's New York!
North Carolina.
As a toddler, North Carolina contracted a virus that led to inflammation of the brain. This 22-year-old suffered a complete loss of muscle control, and doctors only gave her a 10% chance of walking again. The journey was long, but she proved those docs wrong. North Carolina!
North Dakota.
North Dakota is currently pursuing an undergraduate degree in psychology. This 20-year-old plans to continue on to medical school with the ultimate goal of becoming a trauma surgeon. She's a future star in the ER, North Dakota.
Ohio.
Ohio is the founder of Queen Bee, a company that produces organic honey. This 20-year-old beekeeper holds workshops to help other young entrepreneurs launch their own businesses. Selling natural honey makes this Queen Bee money. Ohio!
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma has been a competitive dancer for 13 years at a national level. This 20-year-old is a member of a group at her university that writes and performs live comedic skits for other students. If you think this dancer's funny, you'd be right on the money. Oklahoma!
Oregon.
Oregon is the CEO and designer for an online store specializing in activewear. This 22-year-old was once a contestant on a reality show where she was lowered into a tank full of eels and had bugs poured over her head. Comfortable in heels or a tank full of eels, it's Oregon!
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania studied abroad in Florence, Italy, and is pursuing a career in the fashion industry. This 22-year-old currently runs an e-retail business that markets tailored clothing to young professional women. Fashion is her passion, Pennsylvania.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island has a baking and pastry arts degree and is currently in school working towards a bachelor's in food service management. This 22-year-old is food safety certified and hopes to open her own bakery one day. If you're looking for cakes, this contestant bakes. Rhode Island!
New Jersey. New Mexico. New York. North Carolina. North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. South Carolina.
South Carolina has spent 15 years learning to ride and care for horses at an expert level. This 23-year-old equestrian enjoys practicing show jumping, dressage, and eventing. She could teach courses on how to ride horses. South Carolina.
South Dakota.
South Dakota is a biology student who models for a clothing boutique. In a few years, this 21-year-old plans to attend dental school and eventually open her own dentistry practice. It's the truth. She'll fix your tooth. South Dakota.
Tennessee.
Tennessee is passionate about fighting hunger and has volunteered at a food bank for the past 15 years. Pageantry is in her genes, as the 25-year-old's mother was also crowned Miss Tennessee USA in 1981. Her crown was passed down. It's Tennessee.
Texas.
Texas recently became the youngest realtor in her office to sell $1 million home. This 23-year-old's proudest accomplishment was being recognized on the Houston Association of Realtors' exclusive 20 under 40 list last year. If you need a new dwelling, this contestant is selling. Texas!
Utah.
Utah didn't speak English when she came to the U.S., but learned quickly and won a spelling bee. Within a year, this 24-year-old Armenian advocates for higher education for immigrants, as she understands the challenges they face. Learning is grand when you're from a foreign land like Utah.
Vermont.
Vermont is a member of the United States Parachute Association, working to become a professional skydiver. This 20-year-old has been training for 2 years and has accumulated nearly 200 solo jumps. It's not insane to jump out of a plane when you're Vermont.
Virginia.
Virginia is a multimedia journalism major and aspiring sports broadcaster. This 22-year-old Allie LaForce fan worked last year's WNBA Finals, but her ultimate goal is to report from the sidelines of the Super Bowl. Reporting on sports of all sorts, it's Virginia.
Washington.
Washington hopes to raise national awareness about the dangers of texting and driving. This 20-year-old enjoys welding in her spare time and even has her own sparkly pink welder's mask. Feeling compelled to weld, it's Washington.
West Virginia.
West Virginia has a degree in biochemistry and was recently accepted into graduate school. This 21-year-old plans to be a physician's assistant specializing in gynecology and women's health care. She has a wealth of knowledge from studying health in college. West Virginia.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's career goal is to be the lead anchor on a national news network. This 27-year-old former communications major was accepted to every college she applied to and awarded over $200,000 in scholarships. Before earning her sash, she was granted scholarship cash. Wisconsin.
Wyoming.
Wyoming is a yoga teacher who describes herself as a hardcore vegetarian. It's been quite a transformation for this 28-year-old who was nicknamed Callie the Carnivore in college for eating bacon every day. There's no pork on her fork. Wyoming.
South Carolina. South Dakota. Tennessee. Texas. Utah. Vermont. Virginia. Washington. West Virginia. Wisconsin. And Wyoming.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our swimsuit competition. Let's give all the contestants another round of applause. These women have been working hard here in Shreveport all week, but that doesn't mean they haven't had time to enjoy themselves. Let's take a look.
Today, so we are doing all check-in, all fittings, registration, all the fun paperwork, getting hair and makeup, getting wardrobe, swimsuit, opening number, making sure your evening gown is good for television. We have a full day. We have a full couple days.
And this is your next stop, right here.
Perfect.
We are getting to select our jewelry, our dresses for the opening number, and then we'll also get to go choose our jewelry for swimsuit too.
We just finished our registration and fittings, and now we are going to treat ourselves to a wonderful spa day.
So excited to be here in Louisiana at the Margaritaville pool. During the downtime, we've just been relaxing. We have fresh coconuts, so we're enjoying our time.
This is so fun. I'm so excited.
Miss USA 2018, here we come!
We're about to zip line over some alligators.
He's looking at me.
That's okay.
You just touched your butt.
We are at the Bossier Boardwalk shooting for Sherry Hill.
Shreveport's been amazing so far, and everyone is so nice here and so welcoming. It's definitely the definition of Southern hospitality. It's been a great experience so far.
Touch walk 5, 6, triple step.
Sign up for pageantry, but I don't know if I can handle all that fun and all those reptiles. Okay, one of those beautiful ladies competing tonight will be our next Miss USA. But until Monday, my lovely co-host who magically changed in 3 minutes, she is still queen until Monday. Beautiful twirl. Thank you. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Kára was a scientist at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission before she was crowned. But what you may not realize is that she's been using her sash to encourage children to take an interest in science. Take a look.
Hi there, I'm Kára McCullough, Miss USA, and I'm here with my guest scientist,
Leah.
For this next project, we're going to do a flying lantern. Remember, always have adult supervision.
And goggles.
The materials you will need are 1, a lighter.
And a tea bag.
3, a tray.
Leah, do you like tea?
No, I don't drink it.
Our ending will look like this. So we're actually going to light this up.
Don't play with fire.
We're going to take our tea bag, gently open it, and pour out all of the contents. And then we end up with this.
How is it gonna fly?
Wait and see. Adult supervision, we're going to take our lighter and light the tea bag to get our flying lantern. Oh my god.
It's lighting up. That was cool.
So you may be curious how that works. It's just like a hot air balloon. The tea bag is cylindrical. The air inside the tea bag gets less dense when heated up, and the ash is so light that it just picks up in the air as everything burns through the tea bag.
What was your favorite part of that experiment?
When it flies.
Ooh.
Go over it. Whoa. I don't want to touch it.
Until next time, Kára McCullough, Miss USA, signing off, and
Leah! Wow. That's cool.
You've been such an amazing Miss USA. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from your reign.
thank you.
Miss USA 2017 is District of Columbia!
The moment my name was called, I immediately felt this overwhelming joy. I stood there holding Miss New Jersey's hand and thought to myself, like, wow, is this my life? I went straight into many interviews, a lot of photography and everything afterwards, and I just sat back and realized, like, this is my life, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity.
Today has been amazing. It's my first official shoot as Miss USA, so I can't wait for everyone to see all the wonderful photos that this team has put together. We are a science, technology, engineering, arts, and math program. Now we are showing students, and especially young girls all around the world, that science is cool and you can accomplish many things through the STEM subjects. So don't forget to take flight with SC4K.
It still actually really mind boggles me to know that I am the 10th African American Miss USA to be crowned. And when I look at little girls, or even imagine myself as a little girl, I just tell myself that you can be Miss USA, and being in this role and having this opportunity to represent a collective group of people, I know that I'm encouraging so many young girls to reach for the stars, and reminding them that your skin tone should not stop you from wanting to pursue anything in life. It's not going to be the same tomorrow, because we're encouraging you, we're preparing this next generation of young girls to take the world by storm.
To have a perfect, confident runway walk, make sure you are standing perpendicular to the ground, lead with your hips, not your feet, and rock the runway.
180 degrees upright. Yeah! Yeah, Kára! Go, Lola! Go, Lola! Go, Lola! Go, Lola! Go! Yeah! Stay perpendicular, Sawyer! There you go! Smooth!
Shoot! Come on, come on.
Kára, we're so proud of you. As your mother, I'm proud of you. You've accomplished so much, and there's still a lot for you to accomplish in this world.
Wrapped up my final shoot as Miss USA. The team really did an amazing job, and even my mother is here. I'm so glad these photos are bringing out my entire personality and showing my reign coming to a culmination. So thank you so much to everyone that helped out.
There's no question our reigning Miss USA looks great in a lab coat, but now it's time to see what her potential successors look like in something a little bit fancier as we begin the preliminary evening gown competition. Take it away, Stephanie.
We begin with Alabama.
Alabama has spoken with over 1,000 elementary students about the importance of childhood literacy. This 23-year-old was a trained dancer for 16 years and currently works as an interior designer. Alabama.
Alaska.
Alaska is an ambassador for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. This 25-year-old covers groundbreaking news as a photojournalist for Coastal Television in Anchorage, where she is the first female to hold that position in 34 years. Alaska.
Arizona.
Arizona is an animal lover with 6 rescue dogs at home. This kind-hearted 24-year-old currently volunteers with a foundation that focuses on child and domestic violence awareness. Arizona.
Arkansas.
Arkansas's great-grandparents came to the U.S. from Portugal and Finland seeking the American dream. This 21-year-old achieved just that by recently becoming a first-generation college graduate. Arkansas.
California.
California was the valedictorian of her class at Grandview University. This 25-year-old is currently a doctoral student with plans to become a nurse practitioner upon graduation next year. California.
Colorado.
Colorado became a certified dental assistant at just 16 years old. In high school, this ambitious 22-year-old was a 3-sport varsity athlete who lettered in basketball, track, and golf. Colorado.
Connecticut.
Connecticut has volunteered for 3 years with the Make-A-Wish organization. This 27-year-old has competed in pageants every year since she was 13 and estimates she's entered over 20 competitions total. Connecticut.
Delaware.
Delaware auditioned for Disney's American Idol and advanced to one of the final rounds. This 20-year-old communications student dreams of becoming a sports broadcaster for ESPN one day. Delaware.
District of Columbia.
District of Columbia recently volunteered at Children's National Medical Center, passing out toys to kids in the pediatric ICU. This 21-year-old former track star won 7 medals at the Amateur Athletic Union. District of Columbia.
Florida.
Florida is a model and criminal justice student. This 27-year-old was the first Afro-Latina hostess of Sábado Gigante with Don Francisco, the world's longest-running TV variety show in history. Florida.
Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, District of Columbia, and Florida. Georgia.
Georgia moved to the United States from Colombia when she was 15 years old. Now 25, this international actress says that experiencing both worlds has taught her the value of diversity and identity. Georgia.
a full-time certified special education teacher at an elementary school. This 26-year-old is on the Young Executives Board for her state's Special Olympics team, coordinating events and fundraisers. Hawaii.
Idaho.
Idaho's state pageant was her first time competing, and she found the experience empowering. This 21-year-old's family came to the United States as Bosnian refugees, so English isn't her first language. Idaho!
Illinois.
Illinois is currently majoring in psychology and minoring in criminal justice. This 20-year-old wants to help others by becoming a family psychologist, specializing in domestic violence and sexual harassment. Illinois.
Indiana.
Indiana was a gymnast for 12 years and is a former NCAA cheerleader. This 23-year-old dreams of becoming an organ transplant surgeon, and her hobbies include drag racing and riding motorcycles. Indiana.
Iowa.
Iowa has been a mentor in the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization for over 3 years. This 27-year-old worked 3 jobs to put herself through college and recently traveled across Greece and Peru carrying a 70-pound backpack. Iowa.
Kansas.
Kansas was a victim of cyberbullying in high school. These days, this 20-year-old journalism student volunteers at a domestic violence shelter and is an advocate for abuse survivors. Kansas.
Kentucky.
Kentucky is a blogger and public speaker who is passionate about uplifting and empowering other females. This 25-year-old plans to eventually co-author an interactive journal with her older sister. Kentucky.
Louisiana.
Louisiana plans to get her master's degree and begin working towards a career in public policy or communication. This 28-year-old admires Amal Clooney because she uses her legal experience to represent those in need. Louisiana.
Maine.
Maine grew up in a very low-income family, so she's passionate about supporting teens who lack guidance and resources. This 23-year-old has studied cinematography and plans to be a documentary filmmaker one day. Maine.
Georgia. Hawaii. Idaho. Illinois. Indiana. Iowa. Kansas. Kentucky. Louisiana. And Maine. Maryland.
Maryland is an animal lover who has assisted in the operating room of a spay and neuter clinic. This 26-year-old has participated in handgun marksmanship competitions for 10 years and was formerly a competitive figure skater. Maryland.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts is an integration architect for a health technology company. This 27-year-old's ultimate goal is to help patients get healthy sooner. Massachusetts.
Michigan.
Michigan is both a foodie and wellness enthusiast who especially enjoys cauliflower crust pizza. This 25-year-old competitive dancer was a member of the Michigan State dance team performing at the school's football and basketball games. Michigan.
Minnesota.
Minnesota hopes to be crowned so she can help increase economic development through promoting and empowering female entrepreneurs. This 25-year-old currently runs her own wedding and events venue business. Minnesota.
Mississippi.
Mississippi enjoys playing football and was the first female sportscaster in her high school's history. This Lebanese-American 21-year-old plans to pursue her Juris Doctorate and eventually practice family law. Mississippi.
Missouri.
Missouri founded an organization aimed at providing awareness to help prevent sexual assault. This 27-year-old has a degree in entrepreneurial management and recently walked in New York Fashion Week. Missouri.
Montana.
Montana volunteers at a food bank and advocates for the homeless because she grew up in a low-income household. This 28-year-old graduated college magna cum laude and recently created her own YouTube channel and original vlog series. Montana.
Nebraska.
Nebraska is a certified child life specialist serving as a liaison between children, families, and the medical team in a children's hospital. This 23-year-old once helped raise $10,000 for a family battling childhood leukemia. Nebraska.
Nevada.
Nevada dreams of a career in the entertainment industry, but obtained her real estate license as a backup plan. This bilingual 23-year-old has already traveled to 10 countries, with Japan being next on her bucket list. Nevada.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire speaks fluent Thai because she was born in Thailand. This 25-year-old philanthropist began raising funds for cancer research after losing her mother to the disease 2 years ago. New Hampshire.
Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana,
New Jersey enjoys traveling solo and has already visited more than 25 countries. In her spare time, this 23-year-old flight attendant proudly volunteers with the Best Buddies organization. New Jersey.
New Mexico.
New Mexico played competitive soccer for 10 years and once trained in the Youth Olympic Development Program for Team USA. This 23-year-old started the Just One Foundation, an organization that encourages students to pursue challenging opportunities. New Mexico.
New York.
New York is hoping to become the first ever Dominican-born Miss USA. At 15, this now 26-year-old worked 2 jobs while attending school to provide financial support for her mother living abroad. New York.
North Carolina.
In college, North Carolina was a victim of sexual assault. This 22-year-old used that unfortunate experience to facilitate a change in the Title IX policy, putting future victims on a path to justice. North Carolina.
North Dakota.
North Dakota is an advocate for mental health awareness. This 20-year-old proudly helps others by speaking to groups about how she was able to eventually overcome bullying and self-harm. North Dakota.
Ohio.
Ohio founded a nonprofit that provides free prom dresses to teens who can't otherwise afford them. This 20-year-old future architect hopes to one day restore this country's historical buildings back to their glory days. Ohio.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma dedicated her reign to being an advocate for an improved educational system. This 20-year-old graduated high school a year early, completing her junior and senior year in only 2 semesters while maintaining a 3.9 GPA. Oklahoma!
Oregon.
Oregon recently graduated from Loyola Marymount University with a degree in communications. This 22-year-old's volunteer work includes raising cyberbullying awareness and honoring and supporting U.S. veterans. Oregon.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania is starting a nonprofit organization to help bring the greater Pittsburgh community together. This 22-year-old competitive dancer's hobbies include rock climbing, kickboxing, and genealogy research. Pennsylvania!
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island began modeling young and was the face of children's place at just 6 years old. This 22-year-old spends her free time reading and writing poetry, and now has become an advocate for ending domestic violence. Rhode Island.
New Jersey. New Mexico. New York. North Carolina. North Dakota. Ohio. Oklahoma.
South Carolina speaks to groups across her state about foster care. This 23-year-old's family adopted 3 girls in 1 year, and she proudly watched her once medically fragile sisters blossom in their new home. South Carolina.
South Dakota.
South Dakota is an impressive athlete who lettered in basketball, track, and cross country in high school. Last year, this 21-year-old helped raise $35,000 for research and advocacy for women's heart health. South Dakota.
Tennessee.
Tennessee is a fashion and beauty blogger who stars on a Nashville-based TV show. This 25-year-old took an advanced photography course in college, and her photos have even been published in the New York Times. Tennessee.
It's okay. Texas.
Texas's father used to be a professional motocross racer. This 23-year-old former tomboy also has a need for speed and recently learned how to drive a McLaren sports car around a racetrack. Texas.
Utah.
Utah runs a trucking transportation company that provides carrier services to a variety of industries. This 24-year-old speaks fluent Russian and Armenian and dreams of becoming a successful dentist one day. Utah.
Vermont.
Vermont volunteers with the Chill Foundation, teaching underprivileged children to snowboard. This 20-year-old studied French for 6 years and recently attended a 5-week art intensive in New York City. Vermont.
Virginia.
During football season, Virginia spends her Sundays at FedEx Field as a Washington Redskins cheerleading ambassador. This 22-year-old first decided to give pageantry a try after an ACL tear put her athletic career on hold. Virginia.
Washington.
Washington has been singing for over 14 years. After college, this 20-year-old plans to become an early childhood special educator to help young children who are coping with disabilities. Washington.
West Virginia.
West Virginia grew up raising market hogs and currently works at a produce market. This 21-year-old self-proclaimed science nerd won the top organic chemistry student award her sophomore year of college. West Virginia.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin has been volunteering with the American Heart Association for the past 5 years. This 27-year-old minored in mathematics and was inducted into Mu Alpha Theta, a mathematics honor society. Wisconsin.
Wyoming.
Wyoming had to undergo 3 surgeries after doctors recently discovered blood clots in her lungs and arm. Despite having a rib removed, you'll still find this 28-year-old dancing or rock climbing in her spare time. Wyoming.
Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming.
Let's hear it one more time for our 51 stunning contestants. They've each done an incredible job. And remember that this year you can help your favorites get into the semifinals. Just head over to vote.missusa.com where you get 10 votes per day, and be sure to check out the 2018 Miss USA telecast this Monday live on Fox.
We'd like to extend a special thanks to the mayors of Bossier City and Shreveport, Lorenz Walker and Ollie Tyler, and the Lieutenant Governor, Billy Nungesser. I'd also like to thank our parents, state directors, the selection committee, and the entire Miss USA production team, especially our amazing president, Paula Shugard.
Thanks to Stacy Brown, Tanita Baker, and the Shreveport Department of Tourism, and our sponsors, Sherry Hill, Chi Hair Care, The Perfect Face Cosmetics, Supermodels Unlimited, and Margaritaville Resort and Casino. And a shout out to Venus Swimwear, Chinese Laundry, and Bold Sunless Tans. And don't forget to join us at 7 p.m. here in Shreveport on Monday, May 21st for Miss USA 2018 live on Fox. Thank you and good night.